So let's talk about some of the components of a personal fall arrest system. We'll start with the harness. All harnesses are designed so they have some basic elements. They must have shoulder straps, chest strap, a leg or thigh strap, a subpelvic or a pelvic strap, and a waist component. And the waist component is the fact that on a harness, the front becomes the back and the back becomes the front, and it will cross over, as you'll see once we fit the mannequin. So we're going to fit it onto this torso and kind of talk about some of the aspects. So once we open it up, we take the harness off. The easiest way to do it is to throw the harness up over the shoulder blades, just in that kind of manner, as we put it over like that, and then kind of put that in a position where it is in that upper part of the back on our body, and then check the height of the subpelvic strap. Initially, you'll be able to tell whether a harness will or will not fit an individual. There's many different sizes, many different functions, many different elements of a harness, but size is important. The next step is we're going to adjust the leg straps. Now, there are different types of buckles or connectors in harnesses. The most common and most simplistic is what is referred to as a pass-through buckle. And a pass-through buckle is just that it will pass through the one side, and then when we connect it, it will lock into position and we adjust it from there. Another type of connector shown on this harness over here is what is referred to as the quick connect. Quick connects come in a couple different designs, but a quick connect is once we have it fitted, it just quickly connects like that and locks in. You'll find that in chest and leg. You'll find the pass-through in chest and leg. But another version that is very common in the market is what's called the tongue and buckle. And the tongue and buckle, and we'll just display it on here, is nothing more than that of a belt system, but in the legs. And the adjustments are variable, and it's very easy to get it through there and get it connected. And very convenient to fit, especially if we're working in environments where it might be, where we might wear cold weather gear in the morning or wet gear in the morning and towards the day. So it's very easy to adjust these and wear them appropriately. Once we have the D-ring kind of in place, it's still a little loose, we'll undo the leg strap and we'll put it onto the torso. Okay, once we have the pass-through buckle, it is as simple as passing it through like that. And then to tighten, lift up on here and then pull the webbing through that way and tighten it so that it gets tight to the leg. Initially, leave a little bit of flexibility in the legs because we're going to make some other adjustments. And the easiest way to define how we fit a harness is think of it like a piece of shrink tube. You don't want to do it all in one area and then do the other area. You want to do a little on the top, a little on the bottom, a little on the top, and shrink it down to the body style. Okay? And then once we've done one leg and we get it fairly close to being adjusted, you're just going to move to the other leg and wash, rinse, repeat. Now, once we have the legs slightly adjusted, still a little bit of loose, we're going to move to attaching the upper part. At that point, we're going to attach the chest strap and just assure it's connected. The chest strap doesn't have to be so tight that it pulls in. We just need it to lay flat across the chest. The chest strap's job is to assure that the shoulder straps don't come off of the body, and when we fall forward, that it catches the body and puts some of the force into the chest cavity, some into the shoulder cavity, some into the groin and the pelvis, some into the hips. We talked about the crossover or the hip effect, and this is the hip effect, where this shoulder strap comes through and it crosses over here and the front crosses over here. And the idea is so that if we fall, the forces are applied into the structural elements of the human body. The chest strap is also what's called a minor adjustment. You have a lot less adjustability here than you do in a torso strap or in a leg strap. So we want to save this for the last part. Minor adjustment, do the big parts first. When adjusting the torso, depending on the type of connector or adjuster, it will differ how much flexibility or how much adjustability you might have on a harness. And there are different types, ones that are pull up, ones that are pull down, some that have roller buckles, and then other ones that might have what we refer to as a internal adjuster or it's a loop back. So the benefit to a design of this type is that once we adjust it, unlike a version like this that has a lot of extra tail, once we tighten everything up, and even though there's devices there to tuck that tail, on a device such as this, once we have it adjusted, there's no tail because of the design of the tie back or loop through. Adjusting the torso, you're gonna just pull that strap through, and you might have to move the chest strap as the harness moves on our body as we bring up the tension into the harness. So we'll just go through and make some adjustments here. Once we have adjusted both sides, they should be fairly symmetrical. You don't want to see one that's adjusted to here and another one up here, because that will shift how the harness fits on the body. They should be relatively equal, both in the torso as well as in the leg straps. And as you continue to tighten up the torso, remember you're also bringing up the leg straps and the subpelvic strap, which is why initially we leave them a little loose. Once fully fitted, they should be snug to the body and only allow you to allow a flat hand in between your leg and your leg strap, or your thigh and your thigh strap, so that we can't fit a full fist through there. If somebody was wearing it this loosely, it would be extremely dangerous for them if they actually fell, because all of that force, as the body gets picked up like this, as we fall, those leg straps will come up into the groin and create some very significant potential dangerous outcomes. Once we have the top fitted, now it becomes those minor adjustments. As you can see, even though the torso is a specific size, I've made very little adjustment to the chest strap other than adjusting it up a little bit. So there's not a whole lot of adjustment that we want it. And we want it to basically look like the letter H across the shoulders and across the center. And then make the fine-tune adjustments. If it didn't bring the leg straps up tall enough or high enough into the body, we're just gonna pull through and get those to get nice and tight to the body so that they sit very tight, not restrictive, but secured to the legs. Couple final checks once we have it fitted. If there are extra straps, assure that you tuck them through the buckles that are generally provided on most harnesses so that you can slide it through. And the idea is we don't want them dangling around where they can catch onto equipment or other tools or sharp objects which can pull us or dislodge us. So once you tuck all of those away appropriately, depending on the design of the harness, then we want to do the final checks. Have the worker stretch their arms, bend over, flex, do the things that they would normally do in a work environment to assure that it's not restricting them from doing what they need to do. And then the last check is, again, make sure that the D-ring is in the upper part of the back, centered in the shoulder blades, so that this is our pick point should we fall. So we don't want it low because that will make us go into a supine or Superman position. If we fall and we're suspended, we don't want to go much more than that degree. 30 degrees is the maximum that we want to go. With a heavier weight, it'll actually pull the D-ring off a little bit. It's called harness stretch, which is normal. Then we want to assure that the subpelvic strap, this device right here, is actually underneath the pelvis as much as possible. We don't want to see that strap here or even further here. Its job is, one, to help express that load should we fall and create almost like a little seat. So again, that force, that possible 1,800 pounds, hits us in a place that's a little flatter, bigger footprint, instead of taking it in a sharp object. One thing to remember, especially if you see a worker wearing the harness loosely, is that in a fall, we are accelerating. And OSHA is very specific about the amount of force that is allowed to be applied to the body in a fall arrest scenario. And that number is 1,800 pounds. And whether you actually do the mathematics, you're an engineer, or you're just a human being, 1,800 pounds of force, whether you've felt it before or not, one can assume can have some significant damaging effects to the human body.